What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Unmuted by GosuGamers, a show where it focuses on everything esports, including topics and subject matters that may not be explored enough in our community, including mobile esports. And in this episode, we'll be talking about Mobile Legends Southeast Asia Cup. And of course, I'm not alone here. I have Jared, my buddy, my editor. Hi, Jared. How are you?
How's it? I'm doing well. Looking forward to talking about some MSC 2021.
What time is it now over at your site?
About 20 past 10 in the morning. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jared and myself will be, of course, from the GosuGamers. But aside from us, we also have two really awesome guests that we have on our show today. So, what's up, Matthew? What's up, Laphel? How are you guys?
Hello. It's nice. I miss you. It's been a really long time, and I miss Laphel too. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Matthew. It's nice looking at everyone here. Oh my god, everyone looks so cute. Oh,
Yeah. that's a bit weird. That's a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Just put it out of context. Like, oh my god, you guys look very cute.
I like your choice of words, Yeah, for those who might not know them or not familiar with the Mobile Legends scene, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a background on who is Matthew as well as Laphel. So for Matthew, well, how would I say he is a talent. He can cast. He's a caster, analyst, very well known in Malaysian Mobile Legends scene as well as Singapore. And he's also part of Evos Esports, right? Can you walk us through that? What's your role in Evos? Yeah.
I can confirm that I am part of Evos. Yes.
You're wearing the jersey, right?
Yes. I know it'll be a bit awkward. So I think just really quickly run through. Yep. So basically started as weirdly enough. I started at a podcast, not too similar to this, and then when the producer of that podcast was actually doing MPL season 2 back then, and then he was like, "Hey, you can speak pretty well. Have you ever thought of shortcasting Mobile Legends?" I was like, "Oh, sure." Casted season 2, casted season 3 finals. I didn't cast the grand finals. And then Evos was playing against GeekFam, so at that time, I was just sitting in the crowd, and then the boss of Evos was there, so I introduced myself, and like I think 3-4 months later, he just like gave me a job, and I'm here.
What's your actual title now in Evos? I mean,
trying to make me say it officially.
Yes.
At the moment, I think it's I have a couple of things, but I think officially it's the assistant to the CEO. I think that's the real title. But I think also taking up the business development lead as well.
So in a way, second in command, right?
No. Far.
No,
Very
he
far.
is.
So I just make coffee every day for my boss,
He's too humble for
especially when I was in Singapore, I brought in coffee every morning.
Well,
that is a fact.
That's how you keep your job, guys. Remember that, right? That's how you keep your position in the company. All right. Moving on from Matthew, we have of course Laphel that I mentioned earlier. Laphel is a very talented talent. Sorry for my lack of
Thank
vocab.
you.
Yeah, talented talent.
Yeah.
Where he's a caster, he's a host, he's analyst for Mobile Legends primarily, right? I think can you talk a bit more about yourself? Like I think you started casting in season 4. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're specifically just talking about my career in Mobile Legends, yeah, I started casting in season 4. How I was approached is basically Gunung Orang Dalam, where some of the casters they know me as like, hey, you can do analyst work, you can, you're a coach. So how about you try casting? And I tried casting. It's fun. The production team was okay with me, and I bought them coffee every single morning to make sure I keep my job. So I've been casting since season 4, and I've casted for M2, I've casted for MPLI. Coming up soon is MSC. So yeah, casting, analyzing, hosting. I do all of the talent work. Right? Yes, I used to coach. My biggest achievement is taking Team Boss School, making them into the Malaysian team, and then winning a bronze medal. Unfortunately, we lost to that one Indonesian team and then that one Philippine team. But it's okay. It's cool.
This is bronze medal for SEA Games, right?
Yeah. We lost to that Evos team or something. I don't know. M1 champions. But hey, I mean, if you're gonna lose, you want to lose to the champions, right? So hey, third place, it was a good first try.
Okay. All right. With that said, let's talk about the upcoming MSC, which is happening, soon. What do you guys think of this format? And basically, it's exactly the same format as M2, sorry, M2, right? Where you have 12 teams, you have three groups. Four. One second, four groups, right?
Yeah, it's four groups. Four groups. Yeah.
Four groups. You have four groups, and then three teams in each group. And each group you have they basically split into three different pools. So you have the MPL champions, which are of course the Indonesian champion, Evos Legends, Malaysian champion ISG-MY, the Singapore champion Evos SG, two champions there, awesome. And then we also have the Philippines champions, which is the Blacklist International, and followed by the second place. There's a second pool, and lastly we have the other teams. It's quite sad to call them the other teams, although they are definitely not. But yeah, because they don't have MPL in their country. The teams, I don't know how to categorize them. But yeah, so basically you have that, and as you can see from the visual, these are the teams. We're gonna talk about the format first. What do you guys think of this format? Is it you like it? You don't like it?
I'll start off because we did the same format in M2, right? And I don't know how is it as a talent, because Laphel, maybe you can chime that on it, or maybe as a writer, you guys can chime that a little bit more about storytelling. But for us, I think this is the most fair format that any esports teams can really hope for. You have the fairest way of seeding teams, Pool A, Pool B, Pool C. No real way to say and also same, by the way, one thing you missed out is the same country cannot be in the same group. So, and this is the amazing thing, why I think people kind of love international competitions, because throughout the 3 months, right, I see Malaysians versus Malaysians, Singapore versus Singapore, Indonesians versus Indonesians, Philippines versus Philippines. I do not want to see the same countries play it out in the first stage. If the second and third stage, whatever, that's fair play, right? But it's sort of that really amazing thing. It's okay, finally I get to see in an official competition how tournaments, how different teams from different countries actually play about. So I think it's the fairest format, and I think the seeding is also as fair as it can be, right? Pool A, champions; Pool B, run-up; Pool C, wildcard. There's no real ways that you can, I would say, argue, and everyone is getting the reward as it is. Group winners, upper bracket; second and third, you go play-ins to play for a slot in the lower bracket. You cannot complain, as fair as can be. The only thing I would say, the only small thing I would say is that I wouldn't like it that because the playoff brackets are already predetermined. What I mean by that is that the winners of Group A will definitely play the winners of Group C. The winners of Group B will always play the winners of Group D.
So meaning the first place of Group A play second
no.
place.
So Group A
Group
winner
C.
will play against Group C winner. Group B winner will play against Group D winner. And I kind of don't like that, because then you have a lot of I'm talking from a esports perspective, right? So normally you do not want to scrim anybody that you might see as a potential competitor. So Evos SG and Evos Legends were in Group B and Group D. We're not gonna scrim each other anymore, because there is, even if it's just a 1% chance, there's still a chance that we might meet each other. Because if Evos Legends wins the group and Evos SG wins the group, we're gonna meet each other in the upper bracket. Because of that, that's the only thing I don't like. What I would really like, or what I really prefer, is that they would just after the group stage, they would do another a draw,
like a shuffle,
like a draw, okay, Group A, Group B. So nothing is predetermined, right? The best thing is that when nothing is predetermined. But other than that, I think it's a pretty fair format. For all, you can't really complain or anything like that.
Laphel, what do you think?
As a talent, right? I love it. So here's the thing, right? So number one that I like is that now it seems like Mobile Legends is in the stage where everything is uniform, right? So as a talent, we have so many things to remember. We need to remember the players' names, the players' teams, the hero skills, and everything like that.
Yeah, I was looking through some of the comments online, social media, and everything. One of the criticism that some of the fans were saying, we will discuss this whether you think this is fair or not, right? They were saying that, or maybe they should also consider, aside from just the teams from the same country should not be in the same group, maybe the same franchise should not be in the same group also. But I was like, no, I want to see the
Nah,
drama, you know?
it's-
That's like ISG. I want to see ISG, MY, and ISG.
We
Yeah.
all want to see the RSG battle. Yeah.
Correct. So like,
Right.
I'm like, okay, I can see your point, but no, I don't. I think it's fair. I think it's completely fair because of their positioning and all.
I totally disagree with that because like it doesn't matter at all. Like at the end of the day, right? Like franchise organization. Like I'm saying, I know I'm saying this like very weirdly because Evos has two teams, but let's just say Evos SG finished second place and we were in the same group. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna say anything. It's fair game. It's fair play. Like I cannot tell Moonton or I cannot tell any organizers. I mean, this goes to any game, right? Hey, can you don't put the same? that just doesn't make any sense. I want to see the best teams. I want to see the best place, and at the end of the day, you know, just win the competition.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like the Mobile Legends Southeast Asia Cup, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're not just representing your team, but also your country. So I think in terms of integrity, there shouldn't be a problem there, lah. Like, you know, yeah.
Yeah, but still, I kind of want to take this point and I want to aim it at Matthew because I think he is
Oh
the most.
no! Oh
no,
no!
like-
What is this?
You are
What
the
is
most.
this?
Like
Okay,
I
okay.
can say from my side, right? But my side is a talent. You're an actual manager of a team, right? So here's the thing. Us inside, we know that everyone loves competition. Everyone wants to win. There's no reason why they specifically want to lose just to help someone else, right? But for those people that think, oh, RSG versus RSG, definitely one of the teams will take it very, very lightly so that the other team will win. Matthew, come on. Like I think by this point of the stage, we can pretty much confidently say there's no such thing, at least in Mobile Legends, right? Where teams buying games.
Okay. One more thing, I'll just say very straightforward, right? And I think it is a misconception. Nobody will ever throw a game in Mobile Legends or organizations at least will never instruct that. And for players' side, think about it from their perspective, right? Like let's not talk about MSC. Let's talk about MPL, like the whole journey. You don't think about it as a one weekend tournament, right? These guys, they sacrifice their lives for this. Okay, they spend 4 months. They spend 3 to 4 months training, winning MPL. They get to MSC, and then, oh, my sister team's there. Let me just. You know the logic, it just doesn't make sense. Oh, my sister
Right.
team's there. Let me just go easy on it. Like no, like in
You'll probably
fact,
try even harder.
yeah, you want to try harder, right?
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the groups, right? One by one. We're gonna
Mhm.
like break it down, and yeah. So let's start with, of course, we mentioned earlier, Group A, the RSG battle, right? We have RSG MY, RSG SG, and we also have IDNS from Thailand.
Mhm.
Okay, what do you guys think of this team? I mean, aside from, of course, you know, the brother and sister team with RSG, yeah. What is the, I would say, the highlight of this group?
Lineups has been mentioned, right? So I'm not leaking anything.
Yeah,
Jason's not playing. One thing a
I
lot
know,
of people
I know Jason's not playing. Yeah.
yeah, one thing that I think a lot of people kind of overlook is that Jason's not playing, and he's very important. He's very important to actually Singapore, and just from that simple fact, it's gonna be a very interesting thing how they're gonna show up in this MSC. I know they're training really really hard. Like I said, they're not going to just like roll over and
Mm,
hey, whatever. Like no, they're not that kind
definitely.
of
Yeah.
team. I know everyone has their own integrity, and they're gonna try their best. But I know that's a very big thing. RSG Malaysia looks really really strong from the MPL finals. I think there's no patch, right, Laphel? Right?
This week, going to MSC, no. Going to MSC,
Okay,
no.
so it's the same patch. Okay, I can tell you one thing that how teams view things, right? How teams view things. The most disadvantage right now is Malaysian and Philippine teams, and the reason why is because there's so much data of them.
And it's fresh.
And
It's literally fresh data.
It's
Like
fresh.
last
It's
week
last
only.
week.
Yeah.
It's last
Yeah.
week. So what I mean by that is people don't know what Singaporean teams have been screaming with. People don't know what Thailand team has been screaming with. People don't know what Indonesia team has been screaming with. Their finals were a month ago. They don't know how these teams read the meta. And I know for a fact that teams have started to avoid screaming internationally because they don't want to leak the meta as well. So most disadvantage if people are smart, Malaysians and Filipino teams. But then again, I do know that the Filipino teams, they're really, really smart. Bonchan from Blacklist, their coach, he used to be from Evos PH. That's why I'm quite close with him. He's a really, really nice guy. And I was talking to him a little bit. He's like, yeah, like this season, he used so much time innovating because he trusts his players so much. But I think, sorry, I kind of go back to my point. RSG versus RSG, it's gonna be, of course, it's gonna be a hot match. It's the first match of MSC as well, right? Like everybody's gonna wonder. But I think the overarching storyline that people wanna kind of go back is that who's gonna fill up the slot of Dota after after their finish at M1, which they got third place. Only Dota has finished in the top 3 placing in the past 2 years in any.
Since you're talking about Dota,
yeah.
right? I'm just gonna chime in real quick. You guys know that Dota is the highest seeded M2 team left in MSC?
Oh.
Yeah, because like Brand, the world champion, is not in.
Yeah.
Like Burmese Go, of course, due to their situation, and Alter Ego, they are all not here. They're all not here. So the highest seeded is actually Dota. But anyway, let's go back.
We have to talk about Dota later. Yeah,
we will talk about Dota later.
Actually, that's a really good point, because you know what's the main reason for that, and this is why I really feel that ML is such a beautiful game, is that game changes so frequently because of the patches, right? I think ML is one of the games where the developers aren't afraid to really change up the game for the sake of everything. Like it can be a pros and cons kind of thing. Like it changes too much, changes not a lot, but that's why the games, and that's why there's always new competitions and sorry, new champions about it as well.
Yeah, I want to bring the conversation back to like RSG, right? Not MY, but the ISG, right? You mentioned just now, like a very good point. Like right now, this roster, they do not have Jason anymore. So what do you guys think the lineup would be in terms of roles, right? Will LY4 be the carry? How about Forza? How about, I know Diablo is likely going to be the side lane, but is Sana and Singh going to be the support? Like, what's going to happen? Because, like, even throughout, like, MPL SG, right, they have been shuffling things around. You see LY4 on the side lane, you sometimes see him in the jungle, sometimes you see, Jason playing carry. So, what do you guys think? Like, Laphel?
Oh, yeah. I have a lot to chime in Group A. So, I've been checking all the players out, right? And after looking at plays from RGMY, RGSG, and IDNS, I'm happy to say that in terms of RGMY, they have pretty large testicles, which I appreciate, because everyone knows the larger your testicles, the easier it is to win, right? And so here's the thing. RGMY has a lot going good for them. RSGSG slightly nerfed without Jason, because again, it's a mobile game. It's a MOBA game. Every role is important, and everyone knows that Jason can be a little bit cocky, but in a way that actually boosts their confidence as well. Where RSGSG, looking at their finals, I feel like after that they definitely trained a lot, because they don't want that kind of situation to happen again. But again, I still feel that RSGMY, they will be able to take it, just because they have the momentum. The only thing that I'm worried about is because it is the very first game, and looking at RSG games, they have an issue, which is they start off very, very sloppy, and then I'm worried in longer games they will burn out very, very fast. True. So I want to see how
they're a fairly young team to begin with, right? A fairly young team to begin with, because like they fielded all the younger players, which is a great choice. I think they didn't favor the old timers because they're old timers, right? So they actually chose whoever that can perform well. So I really like that. I commend them for that.
Yeah, and I want to see Lazia and Kaiser really stepping up, because they have experience international through SEA Games, and they've proven themselves at the SEA Game that they can perform. So I want to see them performing against RSGSG, especially. I would not say they are a foreign team, because they fought against each other very, very much. And IDNS talked with their manager as well. She is happy for her team. She is confident, but at the same time, realistically, this is a new roster. Framesy before this was their carry player, they're the marksman / jungler, but now he is transitioned as a coach. So in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, they do have it. It's just that still, We have to see how the new roster from IDNS will play, but Malaysian bias, I don't mind. People can say I'm biased. I'm perfectly happy with that. I really feel like it's gonna be RGMY number 1, RGSG number 2, and IDNS may not be able to slot in.
I'm actually rooting for IDNS just because, you know, I like supporting underdogs. Doesn't mean that I don't like the
Yeah.
SG or the
I'm-
MY team. Yeah.
I'm the same.
I-
I'm the same on that one. The underdog stories are always interesting to watch.
I'm afraid to say underdogs.
Yeah.
Because apparently BG took it wrong. He was like, "Oh, they call us underdogs. How dare they?" No, it's not.
No, yeah.
Right? It's like it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
Should we
not a
call
bad
them
thing.
dark horses?
No, because
instead?
we don't really have a lot of data, you know, from IDNS and from the journalistic point of view, of course, from Jared and as well as my point of view, it's a better story to tell. But of course, I don't think it'll be like, you know, the 4 underdogs for each team, each group will you know be able to advance. You maybe 1 or 2, but yeah, I would wish to have at least one dark horse that kind of like, you know, do well and upset, you know. Otherwise, it would just be the MPL teams. You know, it won't be called, it won't be the MSC. It'll just be another MPLI. Then what's the point, right? So that's what I'm trying to root for. Okay, anything else to add for Group A before we move on?
I just want to say, IDNS is actually quite strong. That's all I can say. Like,
You've been watching the screen, is it?
I don't know. I
Wow.
don't know anything, but I just know that they're strong. Like I just
Diplomatic Matthew.
Diplomatic.
Oh
But-
my
but
God, he has to make everyone feel
you're
good.
not wrong, Matthew, but based on my own digging as well, I have my ways. I know that they're definitely not weak, for sure. And they have a kind of interesting quirkiness about their play style, to be honest. That's what I can say. Yeah.
like I said, main thing a lot of people kind of forgot is the fact that people don't know anything. They were invited. There's not even qualifier footages for people to review. Actually, that's a really big strength. And if people they're not prepared, it's actually a very big thing.
And also, I mean, like Thai gamers or even Thai specifically, right? They always have this very strong like national pride. Yeah. So when they're representing a country, definitely they will try their very best, and not withstanding that they were also the first MSC champion in 2017. So I think there's a lot. Of course, you know, you
All right,
won't-
RGSG number 3 then.
No,
Yeah, I mean, of course, like
I'm just kidding.
because of the roster, they're all new roster, right? It doesn't mean that they would. Yeah.
I'm not saying like they're super good and because to a certain extent, okay, I can tell you that I don't know. I don't watch scrims anymore. I just talk to people and they just tell me, yeah, they're strong, and that's all I can say. They're strong.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same thing as M1 10-second gaming Japan. Everyone's like, oh, easy. Bam, they finished 5th, 6th place.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to the second group. Okay, so now for Group B, we have of course Evos Legends. We have Toda, and as well as Cyber EXE from Vietnam. What do you guys think of this group? Let's start with Laphel. Let's start with you first. What's your point of view?
I definitely feel like this is a very, very interesting group because whenever a Vietnam team is in, I definitely pay attention because I do feel like they can really, really surprise teams, especially now since the meta is very balanced. You know, there's no such thing as, oh, this hero is a little bit too overpowered. I mean, sure, there's 1 or 2 of those heroes, but they're easily bannable. I really feel like Vietnam, like Freddy, if you want a dark horse, then yeah, definitely a Vietnam team would definitely fill that shoe pretty well. Evos Legend, you know, people say, oh, Luminaire's not there, but I feel like they're still very, very strong. Condolences to Toda, because I don't know if you guys heard the news yet, but Moy, one of the players, his mother just passed away. Yeah, so you know, like we have to acknowledge where esports at the end of the day is a mental game, right? So every small thing can affect you. And Moy is also one of those players that when he got into Team Toda performed just because they really needed a tank player. So I'm interested to see Team Toda. They say every single international grouping, for some reason, they're always in Group B. And then they're like, every single time we're in Group B, we will go to the playoffs. So Toda themselves, they're very like, you know what? Everything is going as planned. We knew this was going to happen. We're definitely going to go to playoffs. So if they're confident, I'm confident. But in terms of groupings, this is one of those teams. This is one of those groups that is slightly difficult for me to say because, yeah, Cyber EXE, I don't have much information on them, and just like Matthew said, that could be very dangerous.
Yeah, I think I'll just like touch on a little bit. Vienna teams always traditionally has been very strong. Last time it was VFM.
Yep.
Yeah, VFM. I remember VFM at that time. They were playoff contenders, and they were actually taking scrims of Evos Legends off at that time at M1. They were really, really strong, and they couldn't play anymore. I'm not sure why. I don't know the logic. I think M2 was there a Vietnamese team?
Nope.
Yes.
There were no
Vietnamese team.
BEC
in
Fantasy
M2.
Win,
No,
is it? No.
M2 got no Vietnam.
Yeah, I don't know the reason for it, but
I know the reason. If I'm not mistaken, it was due to COVID situation.
oh yeah, I remember
yeah.
now. So this happens in other games as well because Vietnam teams aren't allowed to fly out of country. No, they're allowed to
Correct.
fly out of the country, but they're not allowed to fly back in.
Back in.
So basically, the government just basically told them like, oh, if you fly out, okay, but you can't come back in.
Yeah. It's the same. You're right. It's the same for like the other games as well.
Yeah,
because
yeah, I
think
remember
the
now.
LOL teams. A lot of
Yeah.
they were qualified for last year's
Mm.
worst champion. I mean worst LOL, but they couldn't go. There were
Yeah,
two
yeah,
teams
yeah.
that have to forfeit their qualification.
So yeah, talking about that, it's actually a very big factor of this on how what the team will be and how you will move forward because I say Vietnamese team is always very strong. It's because they have insane mechanics because of the games they play. Like they are always really, really strong. So I won't
They're
doubt
very
that.
strong MOBA.
Yeah,
region,
MOBA
I think.
players, yeah.
MOBA players.
And I think in general, Dota, I have to say, still when it comes to international events, they show up. Right, they always show up. I remember this story with Ashi at M2 at Singapore. We were doing the coin flip, right? And I was like, "Hey, good luck." And it's like, Matthew, take easy on us, okay? Then I was like, no, you, this is gonna be a hard game. And then yeah, true enough, right? We got 2-0 by them, and it's because I do believe the players themselves, like Moon and Chiku, these two players in particular, right, I think a lot of people don't celebrate them enough that they really deserve. Like these two players are quite insane players to think about it, right? They come in first season on MPL, they get second place. Second season MPL, okay, didn't do that well, fifth and sixth, but after that, they're just like always top 3, top 2 actually. And then international events, I wouldn't say that they disappoint Malaysians.
Yeah.
Do they like make them super proud? Maybe not, but they don't disappoint Malaysians, right? And that's pretty good. This group, I have to say, is actually quite tough. Evos Legends, champions of Indonesia, even though I'm from Evos, Indonesia is one of the best regions right there, right? So they're gonna be a step above. Toda, I have to say, very honest, didn't look really good in MPL Malaysia. Chiku in particular looks like he just dipped like insane.
He
But
wasn't the Chiku like
yeah,
last
he just
year.
wasn't.
Yeah.
I
He
do
wasn't
know,
yeah.
but I gotta say, man, I don't know why people are not saying about this. Formes is a beast.
Formes.
No, we try to celebrate him, but people keep saying like, "Oh, he be better." Just like, are you sure?
He
Like every
is.
role he plays.
No, he is insane. Like Formes is one of the players that when I see, like when I watch, like I can so clearly know this guy. He is humble. He's a nice guy. I still remember, like, I know it's a bit sidetracked. Like in M2, we were all quarantined, right? Fun days, 14 days, very fun, trapped in the hotel room.
Yep.
And Toda and Evos SG were like, oh, actually, my room, we were the same floor with Toda. So when we went for the swap test, we went together. And I still remember this. Like, I always remember this story. Like, Formes was so cute. So we were walking, of course, with proper social distancing, guys. No worries about that. Like, we were doing the SWOT test, and then I think he asked me, he's like, Matthew. I was like, oh yeah, kenapa? Bolehkah saya nak autograph Zays? And then I was like, this guy is so cute.
Formes asking for Zay's signature. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this guy is so cute. It's like you can see he's just really, really happy to be there, to be like a top player. I think he's just good to get. And I feel like this MPL season 7 is where he really turned up. Like he has been saying he's higher. He's maybe his link hasn't really been that good. He's higher in particular. Like if he
not even his
goes-
Benedetta.
Yeah, his Benedetta. Like it's insane. And I just don't know why people are like going crazy. He he to me is the best ML player in Malaysia. Like I legit think, like nothing against RG Malaysia. Like RG Malaysia, they are the best team, right? But in terms of individual mechanics, like his decision making, when you look at Formes, like okay, maybe Lolians is the other guy that you can kind of talk about, but Formes in particular, right? Like, oh my god, this guy is like insane. I think the only thing that like is like making him like one step below is maybe his understanding of the game. Like he hasn't had maybe international exposure enough, right? I think when you play against like Indonesians more frequently, your level is bound to be a bit better when you have people who invest more. But Formes is insane. Moon has been playing very, very well. Momo has been solid. Moy, I think it's a new player. It's different. But the one thing I was really surprised, and I hope like no one's gonna say anything, but Chiku has been really underperforming. I was quite surprised because actually I really love Chiku. Like since the start, like even in the past, like he's such a number one, he's a very, very friendly guy. Number two, he's always very solid. But for Mess, like I started to see like this guy when at M2 when he's higher just crushed Evos SG. And this whole season I've been so impressed by him. Like he's been always a consistent guy. And I think Toda really needs to kind of use him a little bit more proper. And if Chiku manages to get his form up, like he's a good player. He can bounce back. I'm pretty sure.
I personally feel like because right now, if you look at the roster, from the official confirmation, right, they actually submitted him as in the goal laner. So which I personally feel like is not a bad decision. Like because I spoke to him before privately last time. Like he always prefer to play as a fighter. Like he even revealed to me that for S7 for season 7 they wanted to bring in another carry so that he can play goal lane.
Formas is it you're talking about?
No,
Or
Chiku.
So
So for Chiku to play goal lane, I think is a good transition. But of course, the team needs to work around because I would say that the strength of Dota sometimes is the unpredictability, right? Which is also mainly driven by Chiku because the carry player is crazy. He will do random things. Same like for me sometimes. So we have two guys that will just do anything that they want and still survive and be able to like take down enemies. Then the other three players will just like play around them. So if Chiku is shifting to the side lane and then Formace is taking over the first position, then yeah, it's the matter of like whether the rest can adjust accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah, my personal opinion on Dota, because again, analysts, I keep watching their games. So the thing about their performance for this season, especially Chiku, the thing that differentiates Chiku now before is that his decision making this time is like he's being aggressive for the sake of being aggressive. There's no concrete reason why he should do that, because if you want me to make a compilation, I can show you every single time he goes for a kill that really does not give benefit to him or the team. Now, Formace is more or less the same in terms that he understands or he has this need that he wants to be the playmaker of the team. And most of the time, he makes those plays where he uses those assassins, he uses fighters, and he knows how to get to the back line, and he knows how to disrupt the enemy's positioning through him being overly aggressive towards their damage dealer, which is good, which is amazing, which I like. That doesn't matter who the opponent is, whether they're local, whether they are international, he will, in a way, disrespect them, but in a good way. The wrong thing about it is that, well, before this, he's kind of like Chiku now, where he's aggressive for the sake of being aggressive. But nowadays, we can definitely see that he understands timing a little bit more. He understands that he needs a certain power spike for him to achieve the results that he wants. Right. And that's why he shines a little bit more. And just like what Matthew said, his own team needs to know how to play around him, because he can make those plays. It's just that he needs a team to understand that what he is going to do next, and then they have to follow up on him to make sure that they cover up for his mistakes. And if they're able to do that, then they will look amazing. And just a final point, during the playoffs, it was very evident that Team Toda, they lost team, where they had to play a best of 5 and a best of 7 on the same day.
Yeah, it's crazy,
difficult.
Yeah. So the first couple of games they look hot, but then after that it looked like it took a very, very high mental toll on certain players, where they went out of position a little bit too much, and it gave a lot of opportunities for RSG to get back. So yeah.
Okay, now I want to talk about the other team, right, in Group B. I would say like a complete opposite of Dota, which is Evos Legends, because I feel like Evos Legends they are known for, of course, their versatility as well as their consistency. They're very disciplined. Of course, under Zays, right, they will screw. If not, he will screw all of them, right? But yeah, it feels like they're a very disciplined team as compared to Dota, which is like a bit crazy. So okay, personally for me, I think Versick remains as one of the top best, carry or jungler player in the world right now. Like to me, if I'm Toda or Cyber EXE, I would just probably ban his link straight off. Yeah, that's my
enough.
personal strategy. I would screw that. I don't care. Just I would want to think about link. And yeah, but that's not just the only strength of EOS Legends, right? Because I feel like they have so many different strategies that they can go with. Like for example, during the grand final against Bigatron, they can go with Diggy strat, they can do Link strat, they can go different like a death ball strat, they can go late, they can go early, they can go aggressive. Yeah, I think this is really really tough for teams like Toda to face, as well as Cyber EXE, because like yes, we know that Cyber EXE, we spoke about them, they're good enough, but can they deal with this kind of like next level drafting, next level preparation from Evos Legends? I don't think so. Jared, any thoughts on this? Yeah.
Yeah, I think like we said, there's not a lot that we know about Cyber EXE. So putting them up against these teams of such a high caliber, even though we've already said that there's the unknown factor that comes into play, I think that they're gonna definitely have a tough time sitting in the midst of literal legends.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Evos Legends is legendary. They were the first
Exactly.
world champions, and they still are. I would say to some extent, that legendary quality, right? And Toda, maybe not legendary, but definitely proven and
Close enough.
established.
I
would say.
think they're legendary in their own right, to be honest.
In Malaysia, for sure, I would say.
Mythical.
Yeah.
They're
Mythical.
Okay, no.
yeah, because for those who are not aware, Toda means short fish, right? In
swordfish.
Malay, but it also has that mythical element to it. Yeah, there was like a folk tale back then that like the swordfish attacked Singapore. Yeah, I'm not gonna retell the whole story, but basically, yeah, it's one of the folklore. Okay, you know what? Let's move on. Let's move. I think we're getting a hang of it. We're gonna talk more. We have two more groups. So let's go to Group C. Okay, Group C. This is really interesting for me. To me, this is my group of death. Okay, because Group C, you have Blacklist International, the champion of MPL PH, as well as Bigatron Alpha from Indonesia, and Impunity KH. Definitely, of course, the Philippine team and the Indonesian team, they are definitely there at their top. But even Impunity KH, I don't think we can underestimate them, although they didn't really perform well in during M2 earlier this year. But I feel like they have learned their lesson. They will definitely come back stronger, and they've also have a couple of roster changes. They kind of know that okay, we weren't good enough, so we need to do better. And yeah, they have like a proven coach as well, and the organization definitely supported them and make sure that they at least will show up better. But yeah, Matthew, what do you think of this team, this group C? Anything, any takeaway?
Hard group, very hard group. I wouldn't want to be in that group, so I'm glad I'm not in that group. Blacklist strong, PTR very strong, and I think nothing against the wild card of that group, but it will be between both of those unless Impunity does show up in a different way, which they can. But from what I think, it is going to be that fight, and that best of three between those two teams, it is going to be a clash of styles. It's going to be a clash of how both countries play, because I think both are considerably, this is MSC, it's top teams in the world already, so you can't really say like, oh, we send a less strong team, whatever. No, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
It's very strong. Both teams are good. I think personally, Blacklist is gonna be feeling a little bit hotter because they just won,
For sure.
and they are coming from Pool A. But BTR has a lot of things to prove, and I think it's gonna be a hot series. That's all I can say.
I want to say that yes, BTR definitely they are strong, right, overall, but with the exclusion of brands, not able to play. I'm not gonna talk so much about the scandal. We all know about it, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's not gonna play for MSC, and he will be replaced by probably either Max, right? We replaced as a jungler. That will definitely hurt them. Yes, they do have 1 month to train, but for me, BTR stood out in the season 7 because of fans. They were playing around him. They were relying on him a lot. So without him, it's gonna really hurt their chances. Yeah. Laphel, anything to say about Pikachu?
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, Brands is just not playing because he's taking care of his mic. He has to betulkan his mic in a way. So
yeah, he has to make sure.
yeah,
that,
he has mic issues. So he has to
issues,
fix that a bit. It's no big deal.
Mhm.
But this group, I would say the only thing that I'm worried for impunity, KH, is just that Bigatron and RBTR and a Blacklist International, they are a very tempo heavy group, team, especially Blacklist International, especially if they get their draft, with the Esters and all, where they don't have a lot of engaged. So it's going to be a very, very slow game. So it's good that they will be able to learn or get comfortable in the game over time. But again, I just feel like Philippines in general for this season, they really test the enemy's stamina, which I have to see whether Impunity, having not much experience going up against international teams, whether they will be able to handle it. Because again, we've been seeing a lot of fast games and everything like that. People got used to that, so they're like, okay, we go in, we boom, 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 pow, 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 and then focus on the next game.
Yeah, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and it.
Yeah, but if Blacklist International, Philippines in general, they have shown that they do not mind playing an entire day, right? But would the enemy will be able to mind that? Like if they really push the game to be really, really slow, then it's gonna ruin their tempo. And then they're like, what are we gonna do? Just slowly push them out of their lanes, slowly push them out of their turrets, and then take turret one by one, and then just ending the game whenever they feel like it. They feel like, what, it's 50 minutes. Let's just stop screwing around and then just like clap them, and then they can just do that. BTR without brands. I feel like, again, Repo is there, amazing player from Malaysia. So I feel like BTR will still be okay, even without brands. I still feel like they will be able to survive. Winning, we definitely have to see how the new jungler steps up.
Okay. Jared, anything to add on for Blacklist, since you've been following MPL PH for the last 1-2 months? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing to say is that Blacklist would have had a lot more recent practice, you can say, but at the same time they've only had 4 or 5 days to really get in further practice beyond that, going into MSC. So it can be looked at as a little bit of a double-edged sword, in that maybe they've burnt out, or maybe they've peaked too quickly, and we're gonna have to see what they come in with next week.
Yeah, one thing I must say about Blacklist is that they looked really strong during the regular season as well as in the playoff. But when we got into the grand finals between them versus Execration, right? They kind of showed a little bit of weaknesses there. Like, they were showing a little bit of it could be that maybe people finally got to read on them. How to play around that. But yes, they still have a lot of pocket strats, all the Alders.
I disagree with that.
Alders,
yeah.
I kind of disagree with that, because
Matthew, go ahead. Yeah.
I think it's just Execration like upping their level to an insane
That's true.
level.
I mean, you are talking about a king here, right?
Personally, for me, I feel like Execration is stronger than Blacklist. It's just that they got unlucky. But that's just me.
I also think so, but at the end of the day, Blacklist are still the champions, so we have to give respect to that, right? But the thing about it wasn't like Blacklist dropping their level or anything, but
they were not. Yeah.
Execration like playing the tournament of their lives. Like, I think the switch like just kind of flipped when they were playing Brand. Like, people don't know this, right? But they were playing Brand. They were 2-0 against Brand. Right? They were 1 game away from elimination.
And then they played a 50-minute game, and
then you play a 50-game game. Then you just sweep the world champions. The mentality you have to be like with backs against the wall. 15 minutes in, 50 minutes in. You play a mobile game for 50. Look at I can't even look at my phone for 50 minutes. Okay. Okay? I can't even look at your face for 50 minutes. Okay.
What?
Yeah, but 50 minutes in, that okay. You come in, you win that game. You come back and grind it even more and more and more, and then you do that again. You do that the next day, and then you have Blacklist there that has all the information in the world. Because like when you play, so the real thing about upper brackets, I think people might not know this, right? Like why is upper bracket better than lower brackets? It's not only the rest. Yes, the rest is good, but it's actually the information that you can get. What do I mean by that? When you play lower bracket games, it's elimination games, right? You're not gonna keep any strats. You're not gonna be like, oh, let me hold this hero. Very rare it will happen. There are times that happens. I've talked to some people who told me that they do keep strats, especially in Mobile Legends. But when when you're 2-0 down, you're not gonna keep any strats anymore. You're gonna try everything. You're gonna pull everything. You're gonna find all your playbooks, swing everything. And Blacklist had every single piece of that information. There was nothing else that Execution could pull out to surprise them anymore. And they still managed to push them into that game. And remember, like
yeah,
it was them kind of running out of steam more than anything else. Remember, they would one up. Okay, they got reverse swept instead. And I think largely it's because like they kind of showed their hands on everything already. And Execution was just so good. Like they were playing out of their minds. I think barring game 7, every game was like one way or the other.
top notch.
Yeah, it
Very
was like
close.
one way.
Yeah.
Game 7, I think maybe they just kind of like the it happens sometimes. Those kind of games happens.
It happens, and
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was
like it's also
outcrafted, and
outdrafted.
it's because they played so many games in lower bracket, right? You're 2-0 against Brand. You need to draft your best, right?
Yeah.
You go against you go against Aura PH. You have to draft
Aura
your
PH.
best.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And it's 10. That's the 10th game of the day that they played. So
Yeah, can you
at that
imagine?
point,
Crazy.
at that point they must have been dying. So
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Execution, we'll wrap up, Group D. So yeah, we have, of course, Execution in Group D and Evos SG, as well as Nightmare Esports from Laos. So, we were talking about like, Execution is definitely a better, not definitely, but could be a better team than Blacklist. So, Matthew, is it possible that Execution is also the better team in Group D? What do you think?
As a manager of Evos SG, I have to say that every team is very strong. We respect everyone.
You should have asked me that question.
I just want to throw the ball to Matthew. Want to see how he handled the situation.
Every team is very strong. We respect every team equally, and we will prepare accordingly to our best abilities. But no. Jokes aside, we cannot deny one thing. Singapore is not the best region, right? Okay. You can argue it's either Philippines or Indonesia. Okay, leave that. Whatever. Singapore is not there, and of course we're gonna try our best. But Execrations are the favorites going into our specific matchup. That specific matchup, and I have no shame of saying anything. Like I have nothing to hide about that. It's true, right? And of course we're gonna try. And the thing about us. So now, remember what I talked about? Philippines and Malaysian teams are the most disadvantaged because they have the most information. It's true. I have so much information about Execration right now. Of course, they still have time to change things up in this 1 week, but you're not gonna change a lot in 1 week. You can maybe add like 1 to 2 strats. That's about it. So at least we have that going for us.
Right. You kind of see them naked already, right? You kind of know inside out. Yeah.
So like you can kind of do that. For the pros of us is maybe we have some pocket strats. Actually, I don't know. I haven't been watching my scrims at all. Same goes to Team Nightmare. Their first international experience. They want to push. The only thing I can tell you. They want to show up. They want to do well.
Okay, Laphel, just want to ask you, do you think Evos SG versus Execution prediction? I just want to toss it right to you. Like, it's going to be a 2-0, 2-1. Who wins? Yeah, prediction.
My prediction is always wrong, so no one really cares about my
Can you say Execration, please?
I feel like Execration 2-0, where
No, Freddie. You know this guy, my brother here. He screwed me out of M2 because he told everyone, right, this is gonna be
He was
I
actually
expect gonna be a
2-0,
2-0
yeah.
against
Oh, yeah.
Dota. And then I was like, and then I remember I think my social media manager told me about it. And I was like, this guy.
The caster's
Yeah.
curse is a little bit too strong with me, but yeah, if we're going off, right? I mean, I remember during that moment, right, where all the teams were drew up, and then there was an interview between Miracle and Momo-chan, and outright Execration looked the most comfortable. They looked the most they look very happy. They're like, yeah, I mean,
I was in that interview. Hello, I was in that.
yeah, like Matthew was being very diplomatic, and they're like, yeah, Matthew even was like, oh yeah, E2 Max, he's amazing, and E2 Max like, oh, did he just say something nice about me? Oh, Matthew, your diplomatic skills, next level. But yeah,
Some people say in my past life I was a monk. I was very diplomatic.
Not a
I mean,
politician,
I can,
yeah.
I can see, right?
maybe that as well. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the teams, right? Execration during the interview, they did not look tired. They look ready to, in a sense, they look like they're ready to show things out. They're like, okay, we didn't win MPL PH,
Laphel,
but
are
we
you
can
saying-
win MSC.
Are you saying I look tired? Are you saying I look tired in the meeting?
No,
Okay,
you
but
look
which is
Matthew.
it's a fair, because you know why? Before
look
that
worried.
interview, I actually went for a half an hour run.
Ah,
Oh,
no
it's
wonder you
just-
look fit.
Yeah, I was
okay,
like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna bring the conversation back.
Like,
Like, yeah,
Woo! And right after this, I'm gonna go for a run as well.
that's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
healthy
yeah.
lifestyle, good for you. I'm gonna bring the conversation back.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe one of the reason why Execution looks fresh is maybe because they are young. Like we
Yeah.
forgot that, yes, KLVJ, he is a 2-time MPL PH champion, but he's actually just 16 years old. He is still 16 years old, bro.
That's
It's crazy, the fact that he could have been a 3-time, MPL PH champions when he's still 16 years. That's crazy. And I can tell you for sure that having had not spoke to him, but like I haven't seen some of his interview. I know that he's a very mature person, mature guy. Even like just for 16-year-old, he's really crazy. And yeah, I have high hopes for him in this tournament, MSC. I feel like definitely Execution will rely on him, and maybe some other players as well, of course, like Chaknu,
No.
Kelra. Kelra is
Kelra.
insane, seriously.
Yeah, to me, he's insane. Yeah, to me, he's
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, Jared, you want to say something?
Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like I think it's gonna, if we don't see a Chaknu Kufra in any of the games, I'm gonna be very upset.
I think they're gonna
The
ban
tyrants
Kufra
are
all
in.
throughout.
Yeah, every
I mean, we're
game
gonna talk
they're
about
banned.
heroes. Yeah, I think Alice is one of those heroes that every single team should be worried
Yeah.
about, because every single team has showed us like we can use Alice pretty well as like, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like Alice is gonna be very, very crazy for
All right.
MSC.
Last place of each group, Group A. Matthew.
I believe all teams have an equal chance.
No!
RGSG. I'm just gonna say it.
You're the big one. You're the
RGSG,
big
there you
one.
go.
You're the big one.
How diplomatic.
This is your personal view, not on behalf of Evos, so it's fine. Yeah.
I actually don't
You.
know, because okay, so if you say on paper, it has to be IDNS. But the thing is, we don't know enough information. But on paper, it's IDNS.
Okay, so your pick is Anias. Laphel?
I've been saying it over and over again. RGSG.
Okay. Jared, who would be the third place?
Yeah, I think on paper IDNS is mine too.
I feel like RSG, SG might be in a tough spot, personally. Yeah, because I know for a fact that IDNS has something up their sleeves. So moving on to Group B, third place.
Oh.
For me, I'm gonna be just obvious. I'm just gonna go right up. I think Cyber EXE. Sorry. Yeah.
Cyber EXE.
I hope Cyber EXE.
I think Cyber EXE, but if I know how strong the Vietnamese teams are.
But the thing is, you're right that because Toda sometimes can be unbreakable for the wrong reason. So they might be
Are we forgetting
inconsistent.
that they almost lost against who was it?
the Brazilian team,
the
right?
Brazilian team, yes.
Yeah.
DreamHack.
Max,
yeah.
DreamHax.
They
DreamHax is
almost
them too.
lost. Like I think they were supposed to lose.
But
yeah.
DreamHax were strong, to be honest.
They were supposed to lose, but it was
Yes,
Formez
diplomatic.
that was carrying.
Was a comeback,
Yeah, Formez the one. I remember Formez was the one. What was he playing already? I forgot. It was such this.
It could be Benedetta.
No, it was E1's Atlas. It was
Yes, the
T1
last game,
Atlas.
I think his Phantom Link that kind of
Yeah, that was insane.
four
Okay,
of
yeah,
them,
but
something like that.
I miss E1. He's such a very nice guy. Like, every time I go to international events, he's like, yeah, he's always very friendly.
He's
So
still gonna be
Matthew, who's
around.
the team?
The manager, yeah.
I think Dota actually.
Okay. All right. So 1 Dota and 3 Cyber EXE, that third place, but doesn't mean that they'll get eliminated because as Matthew
Matthew, if
mentioned,
Toda gets eliminated,
yeah.
we will chase after you.
Yeah. Okay. Group C, third place. Okay. Impunity KH. I'm sorry.
Impunity
Yeah.
KH as well.
Yeah, impunity. I don't
This is
see.
the
I don't
easiest
see.
one, like that's straightforward.
Group D,
Yeah,
probably the same case.
Yeah, Nightmare
Nightmare.
Esports.
Yeah,
Nightmare,
again,
yeah.
yeah.
Like I said,
It's,
I seriously hope at least we have one team that's out of the
At least
MPL
ideas.
countries to make it to the playoff. At least 1 or 2, personally. But yes, then you will upset, the MPL countries. They'll be like, oh no. But yeah, I really hope that at the non-MPL countries will do well. Okay. All right. So next we're gonna talk about some regional talk, right? It means this is MSC, Southeast Asia. So we want to talk about like the regional rankings. Like, are the Indonesian teams still regarded as the #1 region, or is like PH climbing up? Or how about 3rd, 4th, 5th place? What's going on here? Like, what is your personal regional ladder? Jared, let's start with you. Yeah, since you are, I would say, relatively new to the scene, but you have also done your own research. Yeah, your personal regional ladder.
So look, just from like looking at it, in the last few months, obviously my main focus has been PH. But then going on a lot of the things that I've seen, I obviously know that PH is not the best region. I'd say probably Indonesia feels like the #1. Then Philippines second for me. Haven't really looked into, or not looked into. I haven't really had a chance to gauge the other regions properly. I'd probably put Malaysia after that, and then Singapore in the 4th spot. But again, like, this is just from a very brief understanding and a brief look at MLBB in the last few months.
Yeah. Before I ask like Matthew and Laphel, I want to also bring up a point that it's kind of sad for the MLBB community that Myanmar will not be able to join us this time. Yeah, for I don't know when that they will be back, but it's kind of sad because I feel like they were up and coming and they were really proving themselves. With Burmese Ghoul doing so well, second place in M2, and like even Ronin Esports, even the other teams are actually showing up in the country.
Like I think we've been also trying to scream some of the Myanmar teams, and they're still super strong. Like it is really such a sad fact, especially M2 and the Burmese Ghouls guys. Maybe I know it's a bit off topic, but I think we should really mention that they to exclude them is so insane because these guys, they have been in the same team, the same roster since MSC 2019. Yeah, 2019. 2019 M1. So 2019 M1, and then MPLI. Then up until M2, they have had the same roster, right? And to see their trajectory from the team that was always respectable, they always finish in a respectable into a actual world level team is amazing, because a lot of people, you lose, change roster, you lose, it's your fault. Like, they have the resilience of like actually changing, and like Coach Panda, like he used to be a player, then he became a coach. Like, I think he's done wonders with the team. Like, everyone there is so good. Like, there's this particular guy, I forgot his real name, but his game name is Railgun. He on stage he uses a different name. I don't know why, but like there's this like joke between like my team, like whenever they see, it's like, oh my god, that's Railgun. Oh my god, like it's gone. Like, oh my god, like when they see a big play, yep, that's Railgun. That's Railgun. Like they're so insane because they devote so much of their time and life, and it's really such a shame to not be able to see them
anymore.
I mean, for
Unfortunately.
foreseeable future
Yeah.
at least.
Okay. With that said, Laphel, what is your regional ranking right now for SEA? Yeah.
All right. So honestly, I would say the popular opinion is definitely Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore. However, we do have to remember that Philippines did win M2, so technically, as of right now, they're the best in the world. But they're champions. Actually, both teams that entered, they're not in MSC, which just means that other teams are showing up. Other teams are proving that they're getting stronger. And just like how Matthew said earlier in this podcast, is that every time meta changes, we can definitely see changes in teams where it becomes very, very unpredictable every time there's a patch update, right? And I feel like Philippines, having experience with them, having gone to their boot camps over there, they're really hardworking and they're very creative with their meta. So I would say that as of right now, Philippines is the strongest region, even though numbers don't show it, just because they play a very slow game for this season, less kills and such, and focus more on the objectives. But still, I feel like Philippines as of right now is the strongest region, followed by Indonesia, and then Malaysia, Singapore, and the rest. If we're gonna slot in Myanmar, I would say Myanmar is the third one.
I agree. I agree with Myanmar being third. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to answer
Matthew,
your
yeah.
question, like Freddie, like it
Oh,
depends on like what do you mean?
jeez.
What's the definition of strong region? Is it like best team,
Overall or the
best
best teams,
team,
right?
or
Yeah.
overall? Yeah. So there's two different answers to both questions, because like for example, Myanmar, Burmese Ghost is so far ahead from everyone else that they are like carrying the whole region, right? But if you say if you ask me right now, Indo number 1, Philippines number 2, and then if you say like we're seeing just the best team of each, it would be Burmese Ghost, but we have no way to prove it. And then like Malaysia, and then Singapore, then maybe Vietnam, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand,
Cambodia.
and then Laos. Like I think that's the proper one, but it's because there's no MPL Myanmar
Understood. Yeah.
at all, right?
I know it's definitely a difficult answer, and I don't think there's a right answer for it as well. But personally, for me, because you also have to look into the format of the MPL, right? Like in Indonesia, there's lesser teams as compared to MPL PH. The format is completely different. So of course you can say that the overall level of all the teams could be higher than, let's say, PH if you want to look at overall. But at the same time, if you look at PH, I felt like at least for this season, because of the new the baby meta and all that, it kind of opened up a lot of things for even the lesser known teams, except for maybe 1 or 2 teams that didn't really perform at all. But yeah, I would say that PH as of now, as of this meta, could be slightly better than ID. Generally, like if you pick the strongest team versus each other, or like the weakest team versus each other, I think PH will come out on top. One last question to end our session today. What is the one hero that you would like to see do well in MSC? Of course, I know, Jared, you won't say Benedetta.
I feel like, okay, so if we're gonna talk about heroes, especially we're gonna talk about the unconventional heroes, I feel like there is more potential to be explored with Aldos. Like I feel like it's not necessarily like S tier, but certain situations Aldos might not be bad.
Yeah, because of the you can play him late game. He skills really well, and then you can also play use your competition around him, so that you can split the push quite easily with him.
Yeah. Actually, I feel like one of the reasons is because you want.
And it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, you want to fight against those split pushes, because again, a lot of people play 4-1 in a lot of situations. Correct. Because you just need that one tanky person to clear all the lanes, and in case you need added help, Aldous can be that. And playing him in jungle, he gets the stacks very, very easy.
And it's really fun to see a one punch
very fun
combo, kabam, everybody die.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Jared? Like one hero that you would like to see do well?
Look, like you said, you already know mine's just one hero that I want to see picked, but probably never going to happen is Saber.
Saber.
But definitely won't happen. Other than that, again, it's going to be a new hero, which is Beatrix, because I think that kit is just amazing, and I want to see more of it played by the pros, honestly.
I think you're off to something there, because I feel like Beatrix has the potential to maybe not be top picks, but really she has a lot of like in her
shake things
backline.
up a
Yeah.
lot.
She
Yeah.
can be really good goal laner, I think, in the right situation. Matthew, how about yourself? What's the one hero that you would like to see do well
I
in
want to
MSC?
see more of Claude. Like Claude has been sort of like out of skill a little bit and everything. I really want to see more of it, and I think it's a little bit slow in this current meta, but I really hope that I do see more of it. I mean, I love Claude, that's why. And in the past, just a very fun hero to play. And I think that in this tournament we have a lot of strong marksman players, and I won't be surprised if it's gonna be a staple pick as well.
Okay. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. But for me, my personal pick is Atlas. The reason why it's not so much of the hero, but the composition around it. Because when you have Atlas, it's all about wombo combo, right?
Well,
I love
Dota is
to-
there, so
Yeah.
you can always get that from Dota, you know.
Yeah, I love to see like a wombo combo thing, and yeah, it's fun to see like everybody just stuck together and then die in one go, and they're always very dramatic to see when Atlas able to pull off.
Yeah.
But of course, it's also high risk high reward. If you miss, that's it. It's kind of like Franco, but in a group situation.
Mhm.
Okay. With that said, thank you so much. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Laphel. For all of you who are watching or listening to us, if you like what we see, please subscribe, like, comment, or whatever. And remember to also check out like Laphel. He creates his own content, and remember to support Evos. If you support Evos, yeah, Matthew is here. Yeah, we will have all the information down as well, and we will be covering more MSC throughout the whole week. So yeah, do check out GosuGamers.net. Do check out our coverage. Probably there'll be more interviews and more podcasts as well. Any final words from you guys? Just quick one, to shout out anyone. Go.
Laphel, you go first.
Don't be shy. Let's go. Yeah.
I would hope that all of my donut army watches MSC. I feel like it's gonna be a crazy game. Of course, shout out to the Malaysian teams, RSJMY, Dota. Hopefully you guys do well, and make sure everyone at home stay at home, and
Stay safe.
yeah, be
Yeah.
safe, play safe.
Matthew?
I think mine's a little bit more easy. I just want to say, like, especially with how COVID-19 is affecting all of us, everyone, just stay at home. Thanks for inviting us to this. It's quite fun. Good luck editing this. It's gonna be very long. And yeah, thanks for supporting Evos. It's always been, especially this year, it's been very, very tough for, I think, every esports team. Every business is just being affected really badly. Yeah, hopefully MSC. After MSC, if Evos wins, we have a different interview to do as well.
Sure. Yeah, I'll definitely be in touch if that happens, hopefully. Jared?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to MSC. Everyone else, stay home, be safe, guys, and take care.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
And thank you all. With that, see you guys after MSC. Hopefully, we'll have another pod. And bye, guys.